Sure.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Can we give the President-elect of the General Assembly some space? Can everybody sort of just back off a little bit and give us a little space? Thank you. It has become our tradition here at the UN Correspondents Association, which you will not know, sir, to welcome senior appointments at the United Nations through what we call an informal event such as this one. Something we have dubbed a toast to such and such a person, in this instance, the President-elect of the 72nd session of the General Assembly, Slovakia's current Foreign Minister, Miroslav Lajčák. So welcome and congratulations on your appointment. Miroslav Lajčák is, of course, not completely unfamiliar to many of us, with Slovakia being at the center of a migration debate in Europe today. In fact, I was having my morning coffee the other day and your picture flashed across my screen and I thought, are you in Brussels or in New York? But here you are. But also he was one of the candidates, you'll remember, to succeed Ban Ki-moon. Second prize? Is this second prize? Your spokesperson who is with us today, Brendan Varma. So wave your hands and jump around 3 times so people can see you. That's the PGA spokesperson. He contacted me a few weeks ago and said, let's have a coffee. He wanted to ensure that there was a smooth transition. He wanted an open line of communications. We're not going to do that. No. He wanted an open line of communication between your communications team and the UN Correspondents Association. And I explained to him that we like to do these informal, and I'm going to emphasize informal, meet and greets where we toast the new PGA. And so I suggested that we do something like this, and here we are. A few days after that, Brendan emailed me, and he writes to me and says that he has to, quote, prepare a scenario for today's event, right? And my first thought was, scenario. Scenario in this place is just another word for concept paper, where you literally have to explain to a delegation what the meeting is about. How often are the most formal meetings at the UN called informal? It actually doesn't make much sense. So I wanted to emphasize that while we are still inside the United Nations headquarters, when you walk through those doors, it becomes informal let me quote politicians in Washington, what our forefathers intended the word to mean. Informal means casual, it means a little relaxed, easygoing, unceremonious, unofficial, everything that this is beginning to not feel like, right? Put your cameras away, for goodness sakes. And it means a drink in your hand, right? So we'll get there. Mr. President-elect, there will be enough time for a stiff upper lip, for banging your gavel, for serious deliberations and reflections and so on. But today should be none of that. I extend a warm welcome to you on behalf of the 250 correspondents we have who are members of our association, and we look forward to engaging with you informally and formally in the year ahead. Congratulations on your appointment. We wish you our heartfelt success. I would be delighted if you would make a few short remarks, very informally, if you don't mind.
Thank you very much and good afternoon, and thank you very much for coming and for inviting me, and I very much appreciate this opportunity. This meeting is informal because I'm still an informal person, as a matter of fact, President-elect. So before and unless this word elect is erased from my business card, then after that it will become more formal, even though we will try to maintain also very informal relations. Needless to say, I am honored to be elected the President of the 72nd General Assembly. And I'm bringing into this job, I would say, at least 3 things. The first is my professional experience of almost 30 years as a career diplomat, out of which 7 years as the foreign minister. You know that I've also held several international posts, like architect of the independence referendum in Montenegro, high representative in Bosnia-Herzegovina, or the managing director for European External Service for Europe and Central Asia.
Or a 31-year-old ambassador to Japan.
Yes.
So we have a bit of a superstar in our hands.
Wow, now I'm getting nervous. No, what I wanted to say is that I hope I've learned something and I've understood something over these 30 years, and that experience is what I'm trying to bring into the job here in New York. The second thing is my profound respect for the United Nations. I've always believed in the UN. I always wanted to see United Nations at the core of the international peace architecture, and to see UN not only as the most representative but also as the most relevant international organization, the platform where we discuss things and we can get things moved forward. And this is also, this understanding of the role of the United Nations helped me to define my priorities for the job. And there are three overarching principles that I want to follow. First one, focus on people. Let us not forget that what we do here has relevance for the people outside. And this is the goal of our work, is to make the life for them better. The second principle is balance. We have many activities here. I mean, we have 3 pillars. I want to make sure that we do not ignore or neglect any of them, that we have a balanced approach to across all the pillars. And the third principle is called quality. Instead of rushing for yet another agenda, yet another meeting, let's make sure that there is an outcome, a concrete progress on everything we do. I've inherited so many things that are already mandated. There is no need for me to invent anything new. I can easily introduce and promote my priorities through the agenda that's already there. My priorities are peace, with particular emphasis on prevention, mediation, avoiding of conflicts, because this is, I believe, the essence of what diplomats should do, and we are failing on that. Unfortunately, I believe you would agree with me that we don't seem to be in control of what's happening in this world. No. That's very bad. And therefore, I want to raise the awareness of peace and of the instruments that are there, but we are not using them to avoid conflicts. My second priority is migration. Again, a global phenomena. Every citizen out there knows, has his or her opinion. We have no instruments, we have no policy, strategy for that, but we do have the task to prepare the global compact on migration, which will be the first test of this 72nd General Assembly session. I want to make sure that we will be able to agree on a document that is meaningful and positive. My next priority, sustainable development goals and climate change. We have to stay the course, we have to stay focused. I would like to pay particular attention on partnerships, because we cannot succeed without inviting the business community, young generations, others, and financing. Again, it will require trillions of US dollars, which are out there, but they are not linked to the implementation of the SDGs. So let's look on how to make SDGs more attractive to the business community. Then it's human rights, of course, which is an overarching principle. There is no peace without human rights. There is no development when human rights are violated. And I would also stress the notion of human dignity. So I want to see the human rights not as an agenda that is dividing people, but something on which we can all agree. And we all agree that human beings deserve to be treated with dignity. And my final priority is called modern United Nations. So there are reform processes that are going on, revitalization of the General Assembly, reform of the Security Council. Of course, there are 3 packages that Secretary General is working on, has been presenting or will be presenting. So I will try to support him as much as possible, and together the support of the member states. And my last point is the experience that I'm bringing into this job is my experience to work with you, because over the years I have of course been in contact with journalists in my country and all over the world. I have a lot of respect for your work. As a matter of fact, if I want to be successful, I need you, because if I am unable to explain to the people outside this building what we do, then my work is basically futile. And therefore I want you to be well informed, and therefore I want to say that I will be at your disposal as much as possible, formally, informally, out of respect for your work, but also out of respect for my work. That's why we've also agreed with Brandon Varma, my spokesperson, that we will launch the tradition of regular briefings for you, so that you know what I do, you know what the General Assembly does. If I'm not available, Brandon will be. So feel free to call us, to knock on our doors, because I really understand how important it is for you to have the first-hand information, and also for me to make sure that you are properly informed. Thank you very much.
Thanks to the PGA-elect, and I'm so glad you said you needed us, because none of the people in this room will actually come up to you and admit that they need you too, but let me speak on their behalf. We need you too. So warm welcome. This is a small gift welcoming you to your new role. I was told that you love neon pink and that it brings out your eyes, so I hope you'll love that gift. And finally, the final act today is you take that, I get mine, and we all say cheers to the 72nd President of the General Assembly. Raise your glasses. Cheers and good luck.